What is up, guys and girls? It is me, NKO, and in today's video we're talking about the changes with exotic gear coming in season of Opulence Drops. I'll first talk about the nerfs and then how I feel about them. So on the screen you'll see some timestamps, so if you want to skip around, feel free to. I want to do a disclaimer though, all this information was obtained directly from Bungie, none of it is my own through my own research. Just want to get that out of the way. Also, all the stuff I'll be talking about is PvE based changes. I do not have enough experience with PvP to give any accurate explanations, so I don't want to lie to anybody about that. So let's get right into it. First on the list, and definitely the most drastic, is the nerf on Whisper of the Worm. Whitenail now pulls ammo from your reserves rather than creating ammo. This makes it so that you only have a set amount of ammo rather than next to infinite. Also, the ammo storage capacity is moved up from 9 to 18 without any reserve perks. Now this is the exact same nerf they did on Black Spindle and D1, which if you guys don't know, Black Spindle and Whisper of the Worm are the exact same gun. I'm not sure why they waited this long, I'm not sure what Bungie's thought process was there, but we'll talk about that later in the opinion section down below. Let's move on to our next weapon. Second, and the most questionable, will be Sleeper Stimulant. Now Sleeper Stimulant kind of got like a net zero here, it kind of got a buff and a nerf at the same time, so I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. It has reduced ricochet / bounce damage on boss combatants, which means if you miss a shot and it bounces hits them, not as much damage, pretty self-explanatory. It also has modified precision behavior. The total damage is unchanged, but non-precision shots are significantly more forgiving. This means that if you can't hit your crits like me sometimes, or you figure where a boss's crit is and you shoot him, it will not make you lose 90% of your damage. It's so nice. This is why I'm saying it's kind of like a hard one to pick between a net zero or plus, I don't really know. The third and final nerf for PvE is the Lord of Wolves. PvE damage is now reduced by a whopping 20%, which is a pretty crazy drop. Also, Release the Wolves perk has been reworked. It no longer triggers on kill, and this effect is now triggered by holding reload, similar to the fundamentals on Hardlight and Borealis. PvE damage and range bonuses on this effect have also been removed and replaced with a universal damage bonus instead. Now, some of you guys are probably thinking, wow, Lord of Wolves is going to suck really bad now. Not really. It'll still compete with Acreus and other, and still be much better than most legendary shotguns, so don't worry about that. If you guys are crying already, grab some tissues because now we're moving on to the super armor nerfs. Now what I mean by super armor nerf are the pieces like Skull of Dire Kara, Orpheus Riggs, and Phoenix Protocol, Sergeant Galanor, and Lucifer Yarsa. Now the main changes here will be Skull of Dire Kara, Orpheus Riggs, and Phoenix Protocol now receive super energy back with diminishing returns, making it rare to get a full super back. This pretty much makes chaining of supers non-existent, guys. Also, Shards of Galanor and Ursa Furiosa had their super gain caps reduced to be in parity with other super exotics changes. What this basically means is that all these pieces now are all viable choices for super gain. And you don't have to pick just specific ones because people say they're better than the other ones. Now we all have options. Now, I think the Ursa Furiosa one's kind of interesting because, as some people have said, specifically Dado, Titans are pretty useless in endgame. So seeing that there could be an interesting aspect or a thought process to see if that'll actually be a useful class to run in late game content. So now I'll be talking about my opinion here, so if you guys want to click away and go to another video, that is completely up to you, but if you want to stay, I appreciate it, and I'll start talking about it right about now. Let me start off by saying I agree with Bungie in the choices on this nerf 100%. I'm not going to try to be kiss-ass here, I'm being very honest with you guys, I think it's much needed. This game has been in a very tough spot lately, especially with terms of difficulty, because the community as a whole is on something called the power high. And what I mean by that is that we are all so used to being so much more powerful than everything we're fighting, and having such an easy time killing everything that we're fighting, that we focus more on mechanics than the entire experience in its entirety. That we focus on mechanics rather than the entire experience in its entirety, which kind of takes away from the end game Avengers. Which kind of takes away from the end game of the experience. And I'm going to restart the opinion portion. Let me start off by saying that I agree with Bungie's choices in the nerf 100%. I have felt for a very long time now that the game's difficulty has been kind of dwindling, and honestly the only thing that makes it difficult is the mechanics. We don't really have anything that makes it super hard or super easy, but the only thing that makes raids hard now is mechanics. If you don't have people know mechanics, that's the only thing that'll stop you from killing a boss. I mean, Ignition Prime Phase 2, which is the Squirts of the Past boss fight at the very end. That's the second part of it, if you don't know what I'm talking about by name. The fact that we can almost one-phase him with Outbreak Perfected, or pretty much one-phase him with Whisper, is a bit of a joke. He's a boss that should take 2 to 3 runs to kill, and we're doing it in 1 or 2, which is ridiculous, guys. Like I said before, this update really is about opening up options for players, and this Whisper nerf, some people are arguing, oh, it's not really an exotic sniper anymore. No, it's really not, but at the end of the day, guys, this nerf is very needed because we need more options in the game. The game has the same strategies running over and over again on different raids in a slightly different format. I think Riven is like the only boss that's actually different in terms of like what you have to use. Like you can whisper Morgan to death, you can whisper Callie to death, you can whisper Shura-Chi to death. Not really recommended on Shura-Chi, but you can do it on them. This game needs more options, and if you guys want to keep playing this game and have it survive, you need to let them open up more options. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have some of these overpowered pieces of gear, you're at a significant disadvantage already. So for the future content that they want to bring out and the lack of having to change content based on what we want versus what we need, I think this nerf is a better option. And I'm not saying that this is the community's fault as a whole, because it's really not. I mean, honestly speaking, we're just using the guns they gave us. It's not completely our fault. It's not completely my fault. Not completely your fault. But Bungie did have a hand in this. I don't know why the hell they thought it was a good idea to bring back Whisper pre-nerf Black Spindle from D1. I don't understand it. I had the exact same thing happen in D1, and they thought it was a good idea to bring it back. So we'll never know their thought process on that, like I said. But all I'm really saying here, guys, is that you don't have to believe this if you don't want to. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I recommend just giving it a chance. Don't tweet Bungie, oh, what the hell are you doing? You're nerfing my favorite exotic. Don't do that. Just give it a chance, guys. You never know. You may actually be surprised with some of these updates and some of these changes, because honestly, I've been following Bungie since D1, the beta, and I've enjoyed a lot of their content. I mean, I don't know about other people, but I've been a pretty big fan. I think there's sometimes they're lacking, or they kind of screwed the pooch on some of them, but I think they've done us pretty well as a community as a whole. So I'm going to continue to support this. If you guys want to continue to support it with me, go ahead. If not, then I'd love to hear your thoughts and reactions in the comment section down below as to why you think this nerf is a bad idea, or as to why you disagree with me. Don't hate on anybody if they disagree with me, guys. Let's just have an open conversation about it. But yeah, this has been all from my thoughts and my opinions on the season of Opulence Nerfs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.